Asta has unlocked the ability to utilize Heavenly Severance. He's about to master Ki, everyone. Finally! This means Asta's power will increase 10 times, and the proof is in chapter 340 because, well, look!
Everything, down to the last minute detail.
Ichigo destroyed Black Asta in only 3 attacks?
Big man thing, yeah? It's not looking good, bruv.
On top of that, Asta states that even if he utilized Devil Union, it wouldn't have mattered because Ichigo would have still defeated him. To fathom this amount of power is ludicrous because this is the same Devil Union that defeated Lucifero, or how should I say, Trash Pharaoh.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Asta has now mastered the basics of Ki, but he starts the advanced lessons immediately. Despite all the captains acknowledging they're weak in comparison to Asta in chapter 332, Ichigo defeats Asta, meaning she scales higher than all of the captains combined with her mastery of Zeton, which proves Asta can get stronger despite his worries in chapter 339. Ichigo tells Asta that he would die while she's serious, even with his anti-magic powers and basic Ki being activated. She uses her martial arts on Asta, and he instantly feels the pain, despite anti-magic taking the edge off her Yoryoku. Now, keep in mind that Asta physically scales higher than anyone except for Yami Sukehiro in the Clover Kingdom, but he also has anti-magic within his own Yoryoku that is helping him against Ichigo. This means that if any father like a Magna—
Emotional damage!
Sorry Magna, I had to point you out. But let's say Magna took on this first attack, they would have already lost. But Ichigo shows how high Zeton can actually scale, because she outspeeds Asta's attacks just like Lucius Socrates did. These same attacks made Lucifero shish kebabs.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Asta highlights this by stating, Ichigo's evading me like it's nothing, despite Ryu stating all the advantages Asta has right now due to his anti-magic making it tough for Ichigo to hit him. She's having to exert even more to find openings whilst it's not active. Ryu explains that this is the problem Asta had against Lucius, that his attention lapses in a split second, which gives them a teeny weeny opening to line up the biggest attack that nails. This panel was absolutely, you know what I'm gonna say, Asta is about to black out from this attack, but he realizes this is the power he needs to take on Lucius Socrates. He never gives up and stays upright to unlock that drip. Black Clover chapter 340 makes it very clear that this is the power that will make Asta the ultimate wizard king and defeat Lucius Socrates. Ryu states that Heavenly Severance received its name from a legend that its creator was able to do, which was to split the sky with one attack. If that doesn't sound like something Asta will do, I don't know what does. The story has already foreshadowed that Asta has something others don't. He has a big black sword.
I beg your pardon?
Asta's massive black sword was used as early as chapter 211 against Zagreid, shutting that bitch up with his word magic, you know what I'm saying? This big black sword was used in chapter 230 when he destroyed the Candelo with the sword reaching the sky. In chapter 316 against Lucifero, he splits everything in half, being the only person capable of doing so. Therefore, the Black Divider has showcased the potential to create such a feat once again, especially after mastering Ki and Zeton, which stores up his spirit energy in combination with his anti-magic, released in one key moment against Lucius for a fatal blow.
Congratulations.
Just in case Asta didn't take enough L's already, we are introduced to 3 more members of the Ryuzen. They are Imairi, Ukadai, and Hanage. Now, they need to remember who the main character of this story is, because right now, I don't know why they don't just send the 7 Ryuzen to have a scrap with Lucius and call it a day. They continue training Asta all for Ryu's sake, but, well, take a look. Asta loses multiple times to all the Ryuzen, but gives yet another clue about his father. Yes, his father, as he states that all 3 Ryuzen defeated him despite not using magic power, but used Zetten. His dad could have used that Zetten thing on his mom, you know what I'm saying?
You gonna make me act up.
Asta is quick at picking up new techniques and learns from his losses. Thus, he deduces a new way to use Zetten. He gives the example that if the power output of Zetten is a 10, then this 10 can be split into multiple attacks. 2 hits of 5 or 5 hits of 2. This is a basic ratio. No, not that kind. But what Asta means is that people use Zetten differently. This means he will become a master in this martial art, being able to combine them all and use the correct style at the right time by learning his opponent's openings despite its difficulty. Asta then asks the question that should never be asked to a woman, because we respect women around here. He asks her age. Ichigo reveals that she is actually 24 years old, but Asta digs himself an even bigger hole by saying he thought they were the same age, to which Ichigo thinks he meant she was childish. She continues to simp for Ryu as she explains how he has helped the Hino country during an unstable time with the use of his clairvoyance, as he can use his eye to witness everything going on in the present time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that means he can see what you guys have been doing yesterday night.
FBI, open up!
So remember, next time, he's always watching. Yeah, naughty. Especially that new girl that was introduced. You guys are hella horny. She continues to berate Asta, asking if a loser like him could even understand how awesome Ryu is. It's the trust she has in him, along with the fact she is indebted towards Ryu that she is training Asta despite hating him. This amazes Asta, who begins to fanboy over her and Ryu as their ki resembles Captain Yami. But Ichigo isn't the only one who can simp, ladies and gentlemen. It's Asta's turn, and he's become a simp like me for Yami. You guys know how much I like that guy Yami Sukehiro. He fanboys about how he looks up to Yami for being the first to recognize him and pave the way for him to accomplish his dream of Wizard King. Asta tries to explain how Yami is the pride of the Black Bulls, but all of a sudden Ichigo stops him in his tracks as she doesn't want to hear a single more positive word about her brother. This confuses Asta, and even me. How can anyone not like Yami Sukehiro, you know what I'm saying?
Say that shit again.
And thus, Asta remembers how Yami said he was washed up in Clover Kingdom after a fishing trip gone wrong, but states how he probably made that story up. And I hate to break it to you, Asta, but he did leave out a pretty key detail. Ichigo says that Yami is the scum of the earth, as he is the one who killed their entire clan. But unless you've been reading Black Clover like this guy, that doesn't make sense. The Yami that apparently massacred his entire clan is the same 13-year-old skinny ass kid with no grimoire or scroll? Yeah, didn't think so. There's no way my man Yami is a mass murderer, right? Something is clearly not lining up with this story. It's clear that Yami was framed for this by somebody else. After all, we see how much Yami cares and mourns the dead. This is not the same man that apparently slaughtered his whole family. Even after killing Veto, for example, an enemy, he prayed for him. He isn't disrespectful. He's a Chad amongst Chads. There's just no way. Oh, wait, I just remembered. This was foreshadowed all the way back in chapter 2. Remember, when Asta first meets Yami, he states he has crazy eyes. Eyes of a murderer. No, hold it. I can't judge someone based on their appearance. This leaves possibilities that I want to present to our community, but make sure to leave yours in the comments and share your mana by liking the video. If you get it right, I'll give you a shout out in the next video, so be sure to hit the notification bell for the channel. It's clear that Yami's doing a reverse parallel to Asta's story, as they both led a similar path in life. Asta was framed after the elf arc by the Clover Kingdom, which means Yami could have been meaning too. Yami Sukehiro's body is still partially that of a devil, as his heart changed, which means he has to prove his innocence to Ichika and the Hino country whilst being judged poorly just like Asta was. In my opinion, there are 3 ways this could have happened. Number 1, Lucius's manipulation or devils being involved. Number 2, Ryu having a hand in it and doing some sort of betrayal. Number 3, Yami genuinely did it by accident.
It was an accident, I'm sorry!
Let's tackle number 1. Lucifero, Lucifugius or Lucius Socrates being involved can make sense, because how else would the plan of Cliff-Off would have even proceeded if Yami's dark magic didn't exist in the Clover Kingdom? William and Yami were keys for the ritual, otherwise Lucius Socrates would not have been able to enact his plan to take all the devils and become so powerful. Dark magic is arcane and is inherently rare because of it. Lucius has the power of Astaroth and time magic, which would have given him the knowledge through the timelines to see what was required to activate the spell of Cliff-Off. Therefore, by framing Yami Sukehiro that he killed his clan, he would be ostracized, and his folk were fishermen. One day Yami was going to fish and his ship was wrecked by unexplainable means. However, if we count Lucius, a devil, or someone else's manipulation into account, it makes a lot of sense. He would have left Hino country to escape the rumors according to others, which leads his own sister to believe that he is a mass murderer, which could have occurred through someone else that was striving for success, therefore betrayed him. This leads us to our next suspect, none other than Ryu. The fact that Ryu was able to become shogun of the land despite having 0 magic is completely sus. Unlike Asta, who can actually fight and is pretty powerful, Ryu has nothing but his eye. Ryu can see everything in the world with his clairvoyance, but that only backs up the claims that he framed Yami Sukehiro, as he would be able to orchestrate the perfect setup to get what he wants and attain his dream of becoming shogun. He was the one who created the problem and then takes credit for being the one to fix it. This would explain why Yami Sukehiro, when he landed in the Clover Kingdom, gained his personality of being closed off and rejected others very often. The first best friend Yami Sukehiro made was Noct, someone that also rejected society and had thuggish behavior, told to us in chapter 286. This would have been only natural for Yami Sukehiro to do after being betrayed by those closest to him. We know forbidden magic requires a sacrifice, and since Ryu possesses such a powerful ability of clairvoyance, the arrow points towards him sacrificing Yami's clan to gain more power. In chapter 337, he clearly calls Liber a devil and has knowledge of it, but in chapter 340, his medic calls him a being and doesn't know of devils, highlighting how not many people in Japan know about it. However, in my personal opinion, I believe that a devil being involved or the Lucius Socrates outcome makes the most sense, because Ryu seems like a genuinely nice person that wants to stop him, as Ryu states himself that if Lucius Socrates isn't stopped, it won't be a problem only for that specific continent, but he will come after every continent, including the land of Hino country. Be sure to leave a like and comment below what your theory is for a shout out, and go watch our Chainsaw Man content for more peak fiction.